John Kruk. Mickey Morandini for the Philadelphia Phillies. Terry Mulholland. Ben Rivera. Kurt Schilling. Keith Shepard. Stan Belinda. Jay Bell. There's a nice one of Barry Bonds. Jeff King. Spanky Lavalier. Chico Leand. Roger Mason. Orlando Merced. Bob Patterson. Sluggo Slot. Zane Smith. Randy Tomlin. Andy Van Slyke. Tim Wakefield. Real Cormier. Bernard Gilkey. Felix Jose. Ray Lankford. Bob McClure. Donovan Osborne. Tom Pagnazzi. Geronimo Pena. Mike Perez. Lee Smith. Bob Tewksbury. Todd Worrell. Todd Zeal. Gerald Clark. Tony Gwynn. Greg Harris. Jeremy Hernandez. Darren Jackson. Mike Maddox. Crime Dog Fred McGriff. Jose Melendez. Rich Rodriguez. Frank Seminara. Gary Sheffield. Kurt Stillwell. Dan Walters. Rod Beck. Bud Black. Jeff Brantley. John Burkett. Nuschler. Bryce Clayton. Mike Jackson. Darren Lewis. Kurt Manwaring. Willie McGee. Corey Schneider. Bill Swift. Trevor Wilson. Brady Anderson. Glenn Davis. Mike Devereaux. Todd Froworth. Leo Gomez. Chris Hoyles. Ben McDonald. Randy Milligan. Alan Mills. Mike Messina. Greg Olson. Arthur Rhodes. David Segee. Alice Burks. Roger Clemens. Scott Cooper. Danny Darwin. Tony Fossis. Paul Quantrill. Jody Reed. John Valentin. Mo Vaughn. Is that a rookie? No. Frank Viola. Bob Zipsick. Jim Abbott. Gary DiSarcina. Damon Easley. Junior Felix. Chuck Finley. Joe Grady. Brian Harvey. Mark Langston. John Orton. Luis Polonia. Tim Salmon. I think that might be a rookie. Perhaps. Yeah. Luis Soho. Wilson Alvarez. George Bell. Alex Fernandez. Greg Gregbeck. Ozzie Guillen. Lance Johnson. Pretty nice shot there. Ron Karkovice. Kurt McCaskill. Blackjack McDowell. Scott Rudinsky. Tim Raines. Big Frank Thomas, who just announced his retirement. Robin Ventura. Sandy Alomar Jr. Carlos Baerga. Dennis Cook. Thomas Howard. Mark Lewis. Eric Lillquist. Kenny Lofton. Charles Nagy. Steve Olin. Paul Sorrento. Jim Tomei. Mark Witten. Milt Kyler. Rob Tier. John Dodery. Cecil Fielder. Travis Fryman. Mike Henneman. John Keeley. Kurt Knudsen. Scott Livingstone. Tony Phillips. Tettleton, Kevin Apier, George Brett, Tom Gordon, Greg Jeffries, Wally Joyner, Kevin Koslowski, Mike McFarland, Brian McCrae, Rusty Meacham, Keith Miller, Jeff Montgomery, Polito Pichardo, Ricky Bonus, Cal Aldred, Mike Fetters, Daryl Hamilton, Doug Henry, John Jaha, Pat Listash, The Igniter Paul Molitor, Jamie Navarro, Kevin Seitzer, EJ Surhoff, nice photo of Greg Vaughn, Bill Wegman, Robin Yount, Ricky Aguilera, Chili Davis, Scott Erickson, Greg Gagne, Mark Guthrie, Ryan Harper, Kent Herbeck, Terry Jurgensen, Gene Larkin, Scott Leas, Pat Mahomes, Pedro Munoz, Kirby Puckett, Kevin Tapani, Carl Willis, Steve Farr, John Habian, Mel Hall, Charlie Hayes, Pat Kelly, Don Manningly, Sam Militello, Matt Noakes, Alito Perez, Andy Stankiewicz, Danny Tartable, Randy Velarde, Bob Wickman, Bernie Williams, Lance Blankenship, Mike Bordick, Jerry Brown, Eck, Ricky, Vince Horshman, Mark McGuire, Jeff Parrott, Ruben Sierra, Gary Steinbach, Walter Weiss, Bob Welsh, Willie Wilson, Bobby Witt, Brett Boone, Jay Buhner, Dave Fleming, there we go, Ken Griffey Jr., Eric Hansen, Tino Martinez, Jeff Nelson, Dennis Powell, Mike Schooler, Russ Swan, Dave Valley, Omar Vizquel, Kevin Brown, Todd Burns, Jose Canseco, Julio Franco, Jeff Fry, Juan Gonzalez, Jose Guzman, Jeff Houston, Ian Palmer, Kevin Reimer, Yvonne Rodriguez, Kenny Rogers, Dan Smith, Roberto Alomar, Derek Bell, Pat Borders, Joe Carter, Kelly Gruber, Tom Henke, Jimmy Key, Daniel Ali, Candy Maldonado, John Allerud, Todd Stottlemyre, Dwayne Ward, Devon White, Dave Winfield, League Leader card of Edgar Martinez, League Leader card of Cecil Fielder, League Leader Kenny Lofton, League Leader Jack Morse, League Leader Roger Clemens, Round Tripper of Fred McGriff, Round Tripper of Barry Bonds, Round Tripper of Gary Sheffield, Round Tripper of Dutch Dalton, Round Tripper of Dave Hollins, Superstar Special with Dominican Pete and Ramon Martinez. Look how young Pedro is right there. Pretty hilarious. Superstar Special with Yvonne Rodriguez and Kirby Puckett. There's one with Ryan Sandberg and Gary Sheffield. There's one with, this is a kind of cool one, Roberto Alomar, Chuck Knobloch, and Carlos Baerga. And 3 checklists. Well, Randall, I can't thank you enough for all the cards. I really do appreciate it. I'm glad I was able to find a happy home for them. Thank you very much.